Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios, IronAge Spotlight number 9. And we got a good one for you tonight, provided my internet could keep up. I've been having router issues, so some fair warning there. This could end sooner than we want. But anyway, today we are going to be discussing with David Cunningham his creation, David. Welcome to the IronAge Spotlight. There's the button. Okay.
It's actually
Daniel Cunningham. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Daniel,
fine.
my bad.
No, people do it all the time. They're like, David? I'm like, not Daniel. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Well, hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So the other day I was cruising through your YouTube channel and I saw this video about the Sundering. Pretty cool story. I encourage everyone to go to his channel, which is linked in the description below, and check out that video after this. But that really piqued my interest. And hey, what got you started going into this?
Well, it's kind of a little long story, but a long time ago, my parents both were pastors for the Salvation Army. So I was raised on biblical stories and I'm a big fan of history. And I love things like, what do you call that? It's almost not some of the odd histories, ancient civilization and stuff like that. And I always thought it would, because I absolutely believe the Bible. But the Bible is still only one-sided. It's literally this is the history of the Jewish people, pretty much. This is the history of that side of the world. But what happened either on the other side of the world or what happened in outer space? Does things here could affect other things and what the universe looks like?
You with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you still get me? Sorry, I know you're, yeah. But no, still, yeah. What it would look like, that's the kind of thing my brain was always thinking. What would aliens, if God's, as we believe, God's real, how that would affect aliens? And what would their world look like? And so on and so forth. And, things like that. So I kind of took different things together. I took biblical history. I took biblical religion with other. Yeah. Are you losing me a lot? You're fine with me. All right?
Daniel, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me at all?
I don't know if that's my end or yours.
I don't know. Looks fine on me. I don't know if it's. Let's see, my internet should be up all the way. Check real quick. Yeah, my internet's connected. You're kind of freezing on me a little bit. If anybody's in the chat, let me know if you guys can see us. No, it's not what I want. Not what I want. I'm not seeing any comments yet. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Adventures in buffering.
Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me?
Oh, do we have you? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, good. I was I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, so okay. and I don't either are coming through over the stream.
Yeah, I don't see any
You're
chat
freezing up
yet.
again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any chat yet, so I was just wondering if it's just me or is it you or is it both? I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's down there in the chat. It is like middle of the day, midweek, so
Well, yeah, that's true.
this would be not exactly prime time.
Oh, that's fine. No, yeah, I do it. Most of my streams are like late, so
uh,
I understand. All right.
yeah,
Hopefully.
I've seen a difference because sometimes when I do the middays, they get the views later on,
Mm,
whereas
yeah.
in the evenings they come in live.
Yeah. If we do it too late, then they don't come until like days later or the next day. Or I've done that many times. But yeah. No, it's if I'm still there, I don't know how much you got of that. Um, but so I took different things
I
together.
I got almost none of it.
Okay. Well, pretty much how I
I
do.
asked you the question, you started to answer, and it went kaput.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty much what I was saying was I took biblical history with different kind of like religious, you know, things. And I kind of put together. So, like the big bad in my books is the darkness. The darkness is literally like the yin and yang of God. So God is light, God is good. But before creation, God was by himself, surrounded by nothing but darkness. Everything was empty. There was nothing but darkness and him. So he created the light. He pulled the darkness from himself. So it literally it becomes it's a being that is not really sentient. Like it doesn't have thinking. It doesn't like plan anything. But it has one massive desire, and it's to be singular with God once again. Nothing, and it despises all life and light. And so it twists. It has this ability to twist things that God creates to its purpose. So, like in the story of Lucifer, especially when I do my prior book, it's going to go a lot more into it. Where Lucifer was actually, the saying, a road of good intentions can still lead to hell, or something like that. What is that saying? Um,
The tensions.
yeah, yeah. So pretty much with Lucifer in my book, Lucifer was called the Bard of Heaven when I do his book or a comic or whatever I decide to do. But pretty much he was like a fantasy bard, went around the universe, experiencing all God's life, would inspire him to make music, and he fell in love with all life. And he would go back to heaven, and he would, do his music and give his music to the other angels and stuff like that. And he was one of God's favorites. And then he discovered the darkness. He went to a world, and the darkness was absorbing the world. It was like fully, it's like an affection, some kind of like disease. And when it takes things, they like twist them into almost like darker, not really living things. And so he ran to heaven, and he was like, "Hey, we got to destroy this thing. We got to destroy it." And God's like, "Don't worry about it. I knew about it. I already have a plan. I have a plan set in place to deal with it. Don't worry about it." So Lucifer goes away, and he's pretty much pondering. He's probably frozen. You still hear me?
You hold on,
I'm still here.
okay. I think I got you back.
Okay. Anyways, what I was
Okay.
saying was, yeah. So Lucifer goes, and he's starting to get nervous, and he keeps watching world after world be consumed, and doesn't know why God's not doing anything. So he goes back, talks with Michael. Michael's like, "Hey, dude, calm down. We understand. God has us taken care of. We have to trust God." And so eventually he starts getting madder and madder. Nothing's happening. So he's like, "Screw this. I'm going to take it in my own hands." So that's when he goes and convinces, a bunch of the angels to follow him into war against the darkness. And we all know what kind of happens when he took his own pride and his own he disobeyed God's orders, and when he went into the darkness, pretty much eventually the darkness they fight their way. It's not in the book yet. This will be in the prior book, but this is the concept of how I built my universe. Is he fought his way to the heart of the darkness when the darkness finally consumed almost everyone he knew. All the other angels came with him, eventually fell to the darkness besides him. Then the darkness finally, gets into his head and it convinces him. It's then it shows him its truth, like that darkness and God were supposed to be together in one, and there's nothing. And so he finally gets in it. It twists him. So all his love for life becomes opposite. Now he despises all life. He believes now he should be good, and the darkness completely becomes part of him. So he becomes a little physical, mental avatar of the darkness. So now he sits on the throne of darkness within what I call the Hellcore galaxy, which is at the very end, what I had it where life, when God created life, it was like a massive explosion of his life energy spread out through the universe. Kind of like the Big Bang, get it? But it's his life force. It's literally God's life force pouring forth, creating. And only so many worlds has God actually handcraft. He allows his energy to influence and evolve worlds based on like how much energy they got. So Earth is one of the worlds he handcrafted. And then there's the world of Milan, which is another world he handcrafted.
Which world?
Milan. I called it Milan because it's the biblical meaning for shield.
Okay.
So they're going to be the shield of the galaxy, and so the life as it poured forth. Earth is one of the closest to where the explosion happened. So Earth was one of the first worlds ever created. Milan is one of the final worlds, so it's like way out there in the universe. And then there's a big dark space. God created a big dead space, and then there's another galaxy. That galaxy has been completely consumed by darkness. Then God created. He kind of like expanded the universe a little bit and created this big dead space. This is where the angels go, and they destroy any of the demon ships that try to leave the Hellcore, because that's where the darkness is, and as it spreads. And I have it where in the Hellcore, the sun itself, the darkness got shoved almost into their sun, this galaxy's sun, and it's turned it into like another dark world. So it's like a dark sun. If I could get the art for it would be freaking awesome. But and then there are several demon princes, archangels who fell to the darkness. They became princes under Lucifer, who's pretty much the king. And each world is ruled by a prince. And so you have Death and Decay. You'll have Leviathan, the demon prince. You'll have the first world I'll have in the second book. The actual demon world we'll go to is I forget what it's called. The demon prince of gluttony. It's gluttony demon, and it's going to be his world. And each of their world reflects the demon prince, and they kind of slowly send their troops out into the universe trying to spread the darkness. The angels are in the dead space right before Milan, right now defending everything. So as I said, the sundering, something's going to happen where God tears the spiritual and the physical world apart. When he does that, angels no longer can defend the physical realm. So God knows this because he knows it's going to happen. So he decides, I'm going to create a new race of beings. They have the power of angels, but are part of the physical realm. And so he takes feathers of Michael's and I think Gabriel, from what I said, the archangel of knowledge. And he creates two different races. One is the Kundo.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, it's no problem.
You garbled for a minute there, so.
Oh, it's no problem.
He was going to create a race with power of angels, but to be in the physical world, and then you went garbled.
Oh, okay. So he took Michael, the archangel of war, and Gabriel, the archangel of knowledge. Kind of like in a fantasy world, he'd be like the magic and knowledge, and, stuff like that. They took them and he took their feathers, You know how he created man, he created them from mud and dirt and whatever, you know. But he created them
Mhm.
literally from the feathers of these like all powerful archangels. So you got the Kundo, who are in my book are the physical beings. So if you think fantasy, they're the warrior types, and the tanky, their ability to enhance their physical being. Oh, lost you for a second there. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
and then you
Bye
got
bye and hi again.
the Ignal, who are like the spiritual part. They're more knowledgeable. They're not really the big physical, so they're more the mages and the healers and the researchers and stuff like that. So then you got these two races that kind of are sitting on this world, and in one of the other books I'm working actually on is a prior book called The Rise of the King, which will be the story of High King Therios, who's the immortal High King on Milan. He's literally immortal. He's the only person who's ever been made immortal by God for his deeds on the planet. He's recognized him as a great leader and has decided that he's the only one worthy of being the king under his rule, under the angels. And until he can find a successor or someone that God approves of his successor, he cannot die. Well, not die of age. He can be killed if he goes to war and gets actually killed, but he will live almost forever. So 400,000 years have gone by since their creation, and since Milan. So the Milan has been around a little over 400,000 years, and he is still the
Okay.
High King. And then you get to then introduce my main character, who's Arthas, his grandson. Um, and Arthas is the main character of the whole book. You grow up with Arthas as he explores his world. Pretty much in the book,
Well, hold on. We're kind of
skipping a little bit.
going. We had signal issues again.
All right, no problem.
So 400,000 years have gone by.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's
so
what we lost.
all right, so the main character is Arthas Arkwright, which is the grandson of Theros. So he's a young prince. He's still kind of a kid. You probably think of him like a 8 to 10 year old in our world at the time when he starts. And but their race, the Ignorant Kundo, they can live up to 100,000 years before they age into because they literally go up to 1,000 years. That's when they hit their adulthood. Is at 1,000. When they hit adulthood, they're pretty much like elves. They're like youthful, peak, physical, whatever they be until their 90th thousand year. In the last 100,000 or last 10,000 whatever years, then they age quickly and then they perish. So they have a long, 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 long lifespan. 100,000 years is a long
It sounds
time
like the
for living.
majority of it is prime of their life.
Yeah, because they're built to be warriors.
Like
They're built to
they're in
fight.
prime condition for the most of it, right?
Right. And so Arthas, the beginning of the book, is a young. He's not yet to his prime. He's not to his 1,000th year. He's actually quite young. He's a child, pretty much. And so he gets to explore his world. Pretty much in the book, his grandfather takes him to different areas of the world and leaves him. There's different clans. There's the world's run by clans under him. So they've been all raised and trained by the archangels. So unlike us, who are kind of because we ate of the fruit and God banished us from Eden, they never did that. So they've been literally raised and trained by the archangels. So their world is almost perfect in a way. It's not perfect, but it's they don't have to worry about food, their food, environmental stuff, any of that stuff. Each clan has their own purpose. So you have
So it's
clans.
almost like a what if they never ate the fruit.
Yeah,
You
in a
have a
way,
whole
yeah.
version, a what if version of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So you have a clan. What was the clan? I gotta remember. I gotta go through my notes. Remember everything. But there's a clan that's literally in charge of all the agriculture, farming, animal raising,
Lose me again.
and all right. Would you let's hear me? Am I still here?
You snapped right back in.
Okay.
You garbled for a second, but you came right back this time.
Okay. It's no problem. There's different clans, and they're each in charge of their kind of their own thing. One of the clans is in charge of all the agriculture, farming, stuff like that, and they live on these giant plains. And pretty much that's the first place you go to in the book is he leaves them there with the clan leader, and he says, "Okay, you're going to stay here for a year, and you're going to learn from these people. You're going to do hard work." So he goes around the different clans around the world at different points in at the beginning of the book until it's just time to go to go to the academy, which there's an island that the angels actually handcrafted because their world is one continent. It's a massive continent. And the archangels came and they built them a special island. The massive continent that's kind of like where all elements are on one island. So you got mountains, plains, swamps, and different things all in this one area. And then in the center, there's like a big plain area where the academy was built. So it's like a training ground. So they'll go there from when they turn 100 till their 1000th year. And so that's later in the book, he'll be going there and he'll be learning and training and getting ready for, what's to come. And there's different clans. The royal clan, the Arkwright clan, has like all the special force. They're called the Silver Thorns. They're kind of like your ultimate knights, your special forces kind of group. And you have Clan Uriel, which is Archangel Uriel is one of the archangels of war. So they're like their main battle force. They're guards. They're all over guarding cities from dangerous animals. Because you got to think, all right, when he created Milan, God planted a seed, and this tree grew, and he attached his very life force to this tree. This tree grew so large, it's like a world tree. Most fantasies they'll have some kind of like God tree or world tree or something like that. Well, the tree literally touches the upper atmosphere. This is how big this tree is. So its roots go throughout the whole world. And as God's life energy pours into the tree, it pours to the roots. So all animals, vegetation, the people, the land, they grow stronger, bigger, more fierce. So animals on this planet are freaking dangerous. Certain areas are way dangerous. And so Clan Uriel helps protect them. There's different races on the planet. There's going to be dwarves. For those who love dwarves like I do, there was a race of dwarves that in my book, they discovered on one of the moons of Mars. They have twin moons. They have one is a dead moon and one is a forest moon. And on the forest moon, Heroes goes with Michael and they discover the dwarves. And the dwarves decide, they get their moon because the dwarves like to build things until they kind of depleted their minerals and their stuff. So they're like, oh no, we're in trouble. So Theros brings all the dwarves to Milan and gives them a massive city up north. It's called the Northern City. It's up in the mountains, so it's like ice cold, frozen. That's where they live. And dwarves, they worship gods like in different ways than the people of Milan. They believe. I love how I really like how I call them. They call him the Great Creator, or Father of Creation. So they believe in creating things is how they worship God. So they're all about different creative things. That's how they worship God.
You're
pour
breaking up.
Okay, sorry. Am I fine now? Am I good? Am I still here?
Come on, internet. There you are.
Okay.
Okay, so they call him the Great Creator.
Yeah, so they believe in worshiping God through their own creations. So they build things, and their high priests are like the great crafters. So they're all about crafting and stuff. So you'll enjoy them in the book. So I took all these things together, and then you got like
that's so cool how you just took their being known for being craftsmanships and made it part of their spiritual practice.
Yeah, literally their priesthood
really cool.
is like the high anvil, and it's like they have a banner. It's like an anvil, and God. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really, because I was really thinking like how to put them into where they would believe in God, but they would believe it differently because they're not the same race. And, you know, there's no like religious war in this world. They all, because they, you know, theorists are like, yeah, they still believe in God. They do it differently. That's no problem. We don't care. You know, that's all right. And they're like dwarves though, so they drink beer and they love to sing and fight and, you know, they mine constantly up in the north. They're mining a special ore is called life steel. So everything in this world is, are you still there? Okay. Just making sure. You know, everything
Yeah.
was infused with God's life energy at such a point. So their weapons, everything is a lot stronger than ours. It's all like has, and there's these crystals. Everything is powered on this world by life crystals, which are giant crystals they find in mining that pretty much power things from different sizes, which have a big impact on the second book when they're building their spaceships. In the first book, they're not like super technological. They have some technology, but they only use technology for what they need it for. There's no like computers and all that stuff there, but they have like, you know, tools and like mechanisms to help them farm. They have technology to help like move them. It's like shuttles. They have shuttles that'll help
Yeah,
bring,
probably things like elevators and stuff like that.
yeah, stuff like that. But you know, nothing on their world is wasted. So they're kind of like what the Indians believe. You know, everything is used. So when they hunt things, everything's used. There's another beast kind of race. It's called the Eldar, which are like the imps from Lord of the Rings. They there's a massive where the king lives called God's Forest, and it's a massive forest that goes around the God's tree. This is where the main city, Harmony City, is, which is like a big city that was within the forest. So it's equal, like everything. It's called Harmony City because it's literally in harmony with everything around it. And so they're so good. Okay. There's also in that area. There's a massive waterfall. I have this like massive, like right in the center is this big um, circular like crater that goes down underground, and like water flows down into it.
Yeah.
And like right before that crater is the God's tree at one side, and then Harmony City goes around it and within it. There's like platforms they built around the side of this massive crater that have like different parts of the city. So it's kind of cool. They go to different platforms to different things in the city, and then you got the palace is actually built inside the God's tree, like it was carved into the God's tree itself. So when you read about it, it's really interesting. And the Aldar, who are these giant tree creatures, are the guardians of God's forest. They take care of the God's forest. So they walk around. You'll see them in the book. They'll take like offerings and stuff like that, and yeah, they pretty much protect the forest from intruding other animals. Like there's a part of the book where a certain creature gets into the forest that's not really supposed to be there, and my character fights it, and they're not winning. But you know, there'll be a point where the Eldar shows up, and like because it's a guardian. Oh, did I lose you? Okay, no, you're still there. Okay, for a second there, I thought I lost. No, it's like so the Eldar show up and like save him, but like because they protect this land, that's their job. So and the Eldar figured I love the Ents from Lord of the Rings. I really want to put them in the book. Another beast race you'll find are the ice wolves, and you'll get to. I don't want to spoil the ice wolves, okay? So there's a certain thing that they do is really really cool. You guys will enjoy it. And then there's there's different races. There's like abominable snowmen kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about, like the big snow creatures, but they're not like bad.
Yetis.
In my book, yeah, Yetis. Yeah, the Yetis. They're not bad though. They're like an actual race of creatures that have lived on. They're kind of like our north, like our.
Are they relatives of the Sasquatch in your world?
No, I don't think so. They're just like giant horned creatures that live up in the far north, and they kind of like our Eskimos. They live on their own little village. They do their own little thing, and they're and they do trading. with my people in like the northern city. So they kind of like they have a a decent. They're not like part of the world. Like no, they're not part of clans, but they're like their own offset. And you get to learn all kinds of cool stuff about this world. And then when you go to the academy, they have to learn all kinds of stuff at the academy. They learn about the demons. They learn their elemental abilities because everyone is born with two elements. The Kundo, their elements are different than Igno. Igno can literally see the spiritual realm because the Igno are born from the Archangel of Knowledge. So pretty much they have these cat eyes. And their cat eyes allow them to see literally the spiritual flow of energy around them. They can manipulate that energy to their elemental abilities. So if a Igno is born with the power of earth, they can summon like, earth and roots and grow things and heal. Fire, they can, bring elemental fire out of the, the heat and stuff like that. Well, hello. Arkamar Verilion. Sorry, I messed up that name.
Yep. Regmar Verilion, a.k.a. Black Knight.
Oh, Black Knight. Cool. Still reading your book, man. But yeah, no, what was it? Oh yeah, I was talking about Igno's power. So they can bring out elements like mages would bring, They only, and then Arthas is different than most. He is actually half Igno and half Kundo, which is extremely rare on the planet because most of the time Igno and Kundo really can't have children because they mostly don't survive. There's a
Thank you, Maji-chan.
Arthas does survive his birth because his mother poured her life force into the birth, and she ended up dying through childbirth. And I have a whole thing in the book that there's a reason Arthas is more with his grandfather than his father, because his father kind of never got over the death of his mother in a way. So it's a big part of the book, and it's kind of a big part of Arthas and growing up, and it kind of affects him a lot. So it's pretty interesting how I did that. So he is both Kundo and Igno. So he's kind of like what you would think of if you know anything about fantasy, especially Final Fantasy. He's kind of like a red mage would be. He's kind of has everything, but no master of anything. So he can enhance his body. The Kundo have the ability to enhance their body with their own, like their energy. So they can increase their strength. They can increase the toughness of their skin. They can, and if you like certain people like fire, let's say Kundo has the elemental of fire, he can increase and decrease his body's heat. So they live up north so much easier because they can increase their own body flow of heat. So they can be, wear barely any clothes up in the tundra and not feel cold. Or they could go into like really hot places like deserts and stuff like that and lower their body heat so that they can, it's kind of stuff like that. So this is how I did the magic system.
Hang on, lost you for a second.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Right up to the point where you said they can go into the tundra and not feel cold.
Yeah, so like they could raise their body lower in the desert, lower, stuff like that. Like earth, if they're power of earth, Kundo.
Oh, so they can expel heat as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, then
You're blanking out on me. Can you hear me? Am I still here?
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, you like froze for a second. I was like, oh no. Okay.
Or you were back.
Yeah. They can like
okay,
lower.
You're back again.
Yeah, they can like lower their body heat in desert areas where it's really really hot. They can like lower their body heat so they can handle the heat better. So yeah, they can do stuff like that. Power of earth. They can harden their skin to be as hard as stone or metal. And there's different people. Arthas is both, so he's both Kundo and Igno, but he's kind of like he's not pure Igno, so he's not as powerful as he would be if he's pure Igno, and he's not as strong if he was pure Kundo. So he's kind of a mix.
But he has more versatility.
Yeah, he's got more versatility, and Arthas is pretty interesting. His skin is a little greener than most of the race because he's both. And then he's I think I like Kundos have a cool eye. Like they have their normal eye like we do, and then they have an extra ring around their iris that glows a little bit with a different color. And they can focus. There's two different eyesights where they have like zooming almost. They can zoom things from afar. They have their far sight and their near sight. So they have normal sight, and then they can increase their sight. They can see much farther away than normal. And so Arthas he's got the Kundo eyesight, but his is silver. So his eyes glow like a silvery white light. And so he is like in the book where one of the other characters mentions that she likes his eyes because they look like twin moons. They shine like two moons in the, so I thought it was cool. And Arthas has got white silver hair, long. The Ignal,
That's who's on the cover of your book, right?
Yeah, Arthas, yeah. So here's Arthas right there. And the things around him are actually shadow demons, which are kind of like, yeah, there you go. And the creatures around him are shadow demons. And later on in the book, he'll encounter those. Yeah. The dream. Yeah, chapter. There you go. Yeah, because I really like the concept of like aliens, but I thought it would be cool if they were like different, but like actual demons. And so I came up with these creatures. They're called shadow demons, who are born of darkness. They're not part of the Twisted. So they're actually creatures created, the darkness created, so they're part darkness. So they can literally fade. When they get into darkness, they can become like nothing but darkness. They can fade into the shadows. And anywhere shadows or darkness they can appear out of. So they're mostly used by the darkness as scouts or assassins. Fairly deadly. They have like a tail, like a scorpion, and giant fangs and claws. It's cool. They got one giant red eye. I came up with that. I'll have to share the actual artwork.
Be the target.
Huh? What was that again?
The one red eye. So would that be the target if you face one of these things? That would be the victory button. Go for the eye.
Well, yeah, it can. Yeah, they're kind of deadly. They come out by the they'll pour out where they come. You'll see it later on in the book. I won't spoil that part because it's pretty terrifying. Because the book is pretty good for like even younger kids to read. There's only like one part at the end where the shadow demons do appear that's kind of gory because they kind of walk into a scene where it's like just like a lot of gore, kind of scary at that point. But when you'll read it part, you'll be like, wow. I kind of wanted to look a little bit darker. Like the demons are like very dark and like they have. I wanted like what do you call that? Urgency, and they are actual threat. Like they will kill people. They can, they are actually very dangerous. I don't want to have it where it's like all my characters can never die, kind of like thing, because a lot of stories like, oh, you're, nothing's gonna ever, they don't want to have blood and gore and kids running around. You that background.
Yeah, you got to be able to feel the weight of the stakes.
Yeah, you definitely want to have the stakes. So, yeah, demons and darkness are very high up there. The second book, there's gonna be a lot more demons. The first book didn't have any. It was like only like one time. My kid's being loud. Here, man, 1 second. Okay, there we go. This thing was on. It gets really loud. No, it's yeah. So there's only like one scene with the demons in the first book. There's gonna be a lot more in the second book, because they're gonna actually go into the actual like the hell core in the book, and they will start fighting the demons. So it's gonna be a big part of the second book. But yeah, here's my channel. I know I gotta get my banner a little better. But yeah, so any other
the Myriasphere Origins YouTube channel, everybody, you got to check that out. Yep. And this is the one that caught my attention right here, the Sundering book lore video.
Yeah, Sundering's gonna be a big part of book 2, especially the beginning of book 2. It's going to be a massive event that's going to shake the whole universe. It's going to be great, and I can't wait to like write that, get that going. Hopefully next week. Hopefully my computer gets here like next week, so that I can be like, yes,
Cool.
I can get to work. Because I've been building all this stuff off my head, and I've been putting it down on
Getting
paper.
one of
But
those soon myself.
yeah, I had my computer, and then it got burned out, and now I had to place the motherboard. Sucked. As soon as I get my computer, though, I can get back to work, and I can really hit the grindstone. Because I want to get this done a lot faster. I got my first book out.
Losing you.
Anyway, are you? Am I here? Am I back? Hello. Am I back yet? Am I good? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
It looks like it's really trying. It's just not quite there yet.
Okay, no problem.
There you are.
Okay, all right. I'm here. Oh, I understand internet issues, dude. Oof, I hate our old internet. Hoping this internet's a lot better than our new house. Because I moved since the last month and a half. That's why my office looks so much different than my old videos. So hopefully my office looks a lot better, especially with my camera.
Lost you again.
Okay. Am I back yet? You good?
Kind of heard you a little bit there, but you're still frozen and your voice is very glitchy.
Okay.
I spoke.
Let me know when it's better.
I think I might have you back now.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Yep. All right.
All right. All right. Good. Yeah. Hopefully it stays. But yeah. So, if you have any more questions or anything,
You had mentioned in your video that the flood was not a pick targeted act exactly, but more of a side effect of the sundering.
yeah, in a way, yeah, yeah. It was kind of a two-figure thing. It was kind of a second effect of the sun, but it also was kind of like a targeted, a use to wipe the world pretty much clean of the Nephilim, as I said in my video, and the false gods, the ones who worship them. So God was kind of like, okay, this is affecting the plan because he has like an overall plan, and anything that tries to get in that way, he'll get rid of it. And so, because everything is planned to stop the darkness. That's his overall goal. And he has a certain plan to do that. And a certain, if you know biblical things, a certain event in our biblical history is there's a couple massive events in biblical history that's going to have big effects in the universe. And not just Earth. So it's good. So like the flood is one of them. The death of Jesus is going to be a big one. That's going to be a major thing that's going to happen in the book. But it's all planned. It's all part of God's, overall plan to stop the darkness. So yeah, the flood was kind of the effect of the sundering. The sundering is when God tears the spiritual realm and the physical realm apart, so that He can stop the Nephilim from being born and having fallen angels create new beings that aren't meant to be there. So yeah, I think that was really cool, like how I did that, and like how if you know anything, especially Graham Nolan, and like if you guys follow that kind of stuff, because I'm a big fan of neurotic and I'm a big fan of like that kind of stuff. And so when he was telling me about Graham Nolan, if you don't know who that is, he's a guy who goes around and he investigates like ancient civilizations and stuff like that. And he's got a big theory that there was actually not just Atlantis, there was another civilization out there spreading technology and knowledge to, tribes and stuff to help them, become better off. Well, in my book, it's not just another civilization; it's actually Lucifer, because Lucifer goes around on Earth. He's secretly going around and teaching people how to get their lives a lot easier, how to make things interesting. And then he kind of spreads words of not like the false gods. Or he's like, hey, I'm a servant of Zeus. I'm one of his servants, and here's some knowledge from Zeus. If you worship him, he'll help your crops grow. Or, but it's actually Satan in disguise. And there's a very interesting thing he was talking about in one of his videos. He was talking about there's actually a picture of like an ancient civilization that had a story. And in the video, I talked about it a little bit, or a flying warrior, winged warrior, fighting a massive snake. And then they call it, what is the name of the god they call it? It's Quaffle. Yeah, yes. And it's a guy like snake figure and like feathers, right? Well, what is the biblical description of Satan? Serpent. He's constantly referred to as the serpent, like he disguises himself as a snake. Leviathan is one of the demon princes who got twisted, and it's literally a massive sea serpent now. And that world's gonna be cool because it's gonna be like a world of almost all water and like floating islands and mermaids, creatures of the sea, krakens. These are all children of Leviathan. So think of like demons of the sea, but like, oh, I'm gonna do some fun stuff with the demons. I can't wait to get to those books because I got to come up with all the like different.
I like how you.
Go ahead. What?
I like how you take the foundations of your spiritual belief and extrapolate it to a cosmic level.
Yeah, like a cosmic fantasy. Like it was fun, dude. World building and this was the best part of writing. It was my favorite. It was literally my favorite part. Was like coming up with all these little things. Am I still here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's like literally building the world by little. Like I did this over years. Like I kind of started with Arthas. How I came up with the name Arthas is not from World of Warcraft. People are like, you just stole the name from World of Warcraft. No, it wasn't like that. Literally, how I came up with this name is way back, a long time ago. I played a game called Final Fantasy 11. If anybody knows what that game is, I didn't even know about World of Warcraft at the time. And I like Arthur, Arthur, King Arthur, whatever. And I love his story. And I couldn't get the name Arthur as a character name. So I was like, man, I want Arthur, but I couldn't do it. So I kept using like off names of Arthur. And finally I got Arthas to work. And I was like, okay, I like that, Arthas. And then Arkwright was kind of like, that kind of sounds fancy. It's Arthas Arkwright. So I've used that gamer name forever. And then I just kind of took my game name of my character, and I was like, you know what? And then I kind of was like, especially when I was in the military as a grunt. So there was so many hours of have nothing to do. If anybody knows about the military, it's always hurry up and wait. So you're constantly in a rush, and then you're stuck for like hours on end doing absolutely nothing. So I would just sit there and I would be thinking of like stories.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. I would sit there and I would just be like, screwing around, thinking of different, like either reading or thinking about like stuff in my head. And that's how I started with the story back a long time ago. It's changed a lot since then. When I started writing it, it kind of changed a lot, but yeah, it was really fun to sit down and start building the world. And my brother helped me. He helped do my editing, and he also would help me. Like, when you start writing, you kind of need someone else to be there to help like stabilize your writing. Because there's like, especially writers, like if we're building a world, we can go way off the rails and like some crazy shit. And I would run it by my brother.
That's an issue I have because I don't have too many people.
Yeah.
To keep me reeled in. Got to kind of do some self-checks here and there.
Yeah, you definitely need someone to help, bounce ideas off of. So I would sit there and I would text him and be like, what do you think of this? He's like, no, no. I was like, really? He's like, no, that's way too crazy. So it was a lot of fun going back and forth with him and bouncing ideas off of him, and he'd give me ideas. He's going to help me a lot in the second book because he likes tactics and he likes war stuff. So he's going to be really helpful in helping me build like the war part. So it's going to be really fun doing that. So he's kind of like my second author editor. And then my dad helped with the final edit. He's like master. He's got his masters in Greek, Greek, actual like Greek. So he can write actual like ancient Greek and stuff. It's crazy. And he was a pastor, so I would bounce ideas off of him, especially with the religious stuff. I'd be like, hey, like one of them was I was thinking of doing, what was it? Two different events in the book, but my dad was like, the time period between those two would be like massive. I don't know if he would be able to fit that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he would help me like do different things. He would help like, especially his knowledge of like different religious history and stuff, help bring apart newer things. Help me. He kind of came up with like, hey, you really need to put serpents a lot because Satan's really known as serpents, and you can do like something with that. So that can help. Yeah, so yeah, it was really interesting. Put it all together. The editing took the longest. Editing took forever. Because I'm not like a master writer or anything. I didn't go to school for writing, so I use Grammarly a lot. Thank God for Grammarly, because if I didn't have Grammarly, this book would not have been able to readable. Yeah, you have no idea when I would upload a chapter. I get a chapter done. I'm like, yes, it's where I like it, and upload it to Grammarly. It's like you have 3,600 and some mistakes. I'm like, holy shit. So I'll be sitting there all day, like, click, 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 no, click, click. I don't know about that one. I'll have to send that to my brother. And then he'd go over it after that, and he'd help me fix some things. And that's what I learned about, like, I never realized just reading, like, the different structures of how, writing. Like, when you're in conversation, you have a totally different structure than you would just a normal thought in the book. And stuff like that. I learned that real quick because I had it all as one giant paragraph, conversations, everything. And then we realized, yeah, we actually had another writer that I was reading, I reviewed, who I sent him a couple chapters, and he's like, I'll give you some pointers. Conversations, not the same as normal paragraph. So I was like, oh, and he showed me like what I was missing. You got the little indent, you got to put the little thing, and then said by who, and you got to kind of do that. I didn't know anything about that. It's like, oh man, I got to go through this whole book again and review tons and tons of like, and re-edit a bunch of stuff. So it was really, yeah, editing took a lot longer. But yeah, the world building is the best part. It's so much fun. I can't hear you. I think you're muted. Are you muted?
I was. And I was trying to let you know that we were
You're losing me?
losing
Okay.
you, and I was muted. Yeah, this was blind leading the blind right here.
But yeah. So did you get any of that about my like editing and
um, and you were talking about your brother helping you out, and then you started to talk, and it just froze and then garbled, and I couldn't make out any words.
okay. I was pretty much just saying that about how the world building is like the fun part. Editing's all about it's all work. Just grinding work.
Yeah. Now the world building from concept to paper that part can get interesting. Like you have this what you think is a good clear idea of this is how the world works, and as soon as you sit down and start writing out, you realize, oh, it wouldn't quite work like that, and then you alter it. But I mean, somehow you end up with something that was even better than what you thought before.
Right.
You
Right.
run into a lot of that.
Yeah, I did. I wrote everything out. in notebook when I first wrote it. I had like 3 or 4 notebooks full, just like filled with my idea of my first book, and I have an overall picture of all the books and how they're going to go. So I already had that done. I just had to put it to paper, and then when I was putting the paper, I was like, first I was like, this book's going to be freaking massive. If I kept going, because where I wanted to go in the first book, it would have been like 1,000 pages easy or longer. So I was like, okay, that's going to be way too big. I need to shorten it. I got to figure out where I can cut it off, where's a good point to cut it off, and then I can continue the rest in the second book. So I have a plan for 5 to 7 books, just because that's kind of like, okay, if this book was too long, how long do I need to make the second book, third book, So I kind of have an overall story in mind. I have all like the main characters, what they're going to go, what's going to happen to them throughout the whole story, and stuff like that done already in my head. Everything pretty much built. A good program for anybody who's out there. I'm not paid by them or anything, but Campfire Pro. I don't know if you've used that or not. They're a great way to use to help you organize. They're like, you get a free version and then you get like a paid, like one-time payment version. But pretty much you can upload all your characters, your events, the relationships, items, magic system, everything is like right there. So you can just type it all out. That's what I use to help me organize everything before I was really writing. So that helped a lot to keep my stuff in place. Because there's so many times where I'd be writing something like, oh man, what was that character's name? Either I have to go and read all my stuff back and try to find where that character was, or I just go to Campfire and go, there he is. That is him. Okay, good. So
that's pretty much what I used it for, was pretty much trying to remember how I spelt certain characters' names, and I just look it up primarily for that. Or sometimes, how tall was he compared to this guy? And
like small events, people's names, creature names. So
I really should utilize that more. I got a bunch of characters in the second book, and I keep getting mixed up.
Oh yeah, and like I got to go through the second book again, or my first book. I need to go through it and reread it myself, and like make sure, small events, because I have a lot of like small events that happen that have certain names, and I gotta like write all those guys' names down, so that just in case I use them again, I don't go. You don't want to like start writing about a character that's a lot like another character, and then they realize, didn't you already have a character like that? And you're like, oh crap, I did. So I'm gonna go through there and highlight everything. Yeah, I gotta do that again. And then I got Campfire. It's really helpful.
Unless those two characters are gonna cross paths and everyone's waiting to see that train wreck.
Yeah, that would be
because they're too much alike.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. So yeah, can't wait to get to work on my second. Like really get to work, because the second book I think is going to be a lot different than the first book. Like their technology's improved, so they got spaceships now. The Angels they pretty much gave them the knowledge of how to build spaceships, and how space works in my book is really interesting, because I don't have like hyperspace or anything like that. They have what's going on is when God's life energy flows through the universe, there's like great rivers of it, literally throughout the universe, that are unseen by normal eyes. We can't see them. But if you have the ability to see them, and the technology that can like adapt itself to go into these streams and like utilize that spiritual force to empower your ship, the greater, so it's kind of like almost like river, like how rivers work in like different currents. Like if you know where a faster current is, if you can get your ship into that current, you can flow a lot faster. And there's different currents going different ways, and all kind of. So space is a lot like that. It's not just one giant blackness. The dead zone is. The dead zone is nothing lives in there. Nothing, no planets. There's a lot of dead asteroids. There's a lot of dead ships, because the angels are there fighting the demons, who try to escape but it's pretty much a big dead space. And then you've got the rest of the universe, which I want to go into because I want my main story to be focused on the demon wars. As soon as that's over, pretty much my people are going to be free to explore. So it's going to open up so much more that my people can do. Because now they're not just, you know, their job is done. When they're done, like when the darkness is concealed and sealed away, what are the Milan people in Milan going to do? Because now they have their main purpose, their main reason for existence has been fulfilled. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with them. Either I end the story there, or I spread it out where it's like, all right, now they're going to explore the universe and find races that also can do space age, or who knows? I don't know where to go from there. I got to think of how I'm going to go from there. I think it's going to be freaking awesome. This is why it's called the Myriasphere Origins, because it's literally galaxies. Because the Myriasphere is my brother actually came up with the name because we were thinking like,
what are we going to lose me again?
Oh, am I? Would you lose me at? Or are you just losing me? I'm back. Am I back yet? Can you hear me?
I think.
Am I back?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
All right. So last thing I could hear clearly was perhaps they'll go explore the universe.
Yeah. So I'm going to come up like what they do after that. The Myriasphere, why I call myself the Myriasphere Origins is because it's actually a name my brother helped me come up with, because we're trying to think of what are we going to call the channel and the overall, theme of my book. And the Myriasphere is literally, because my brother Nathan, he came up with it, was the Myriasphere literally means all universes, all galaxies, it's an overall name for all the universe. The Myriasphere. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So we looked it up.
Got you back. Lost you for a second. So the Myriasphere literally means, and then you dropped.
Okay, all the universes combined. Okay. It's like an overall. That's what it's called, and whatever. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Is that name used anywhere? No, it wasn't. So we were like, hell yeah, we took it, and it was Myriasphere Origin. And yeah, so we worked hard. So
Myriasphere is like encompasses all.
What's that? He broke off for a second.
So the Myriasphere encompasses like all universes, like omnispace.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like different. Like you have your Milky Way galaxy, you have your other galaxy, but this is like all these galaxies are one. So it's like So I like one of the reasons I built the channel is what freaking the Drink with Crazy is doing. Actually, is I wanted to make it. Am I breaking up again?
Yeah, you're breaking up again.
Okay.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. No, yeah. So what he's doing is what I kind of wanted to do. What inspired me to write was Gary from Nerdrotic. He literally said something that really was like, oh my God, yes. He said, with all of our stuff, all these franchises dying and stuff, it's like he said that, Hollywood's going to regret it, because pretty soon the people that they pissed off, the people that are mad at them, are going to start creating their own. And when they do, one of them will become the next, Lucas, the next,
Lose me again.
Okay. My back. Am I right?
Come on, do it.
All right, okay.
Cheering on that internet. Well, let's see it click in. Are you with us?
I am. I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me? You played.
And where I last heard you, and now I'm blanking on where it was.
You hear anything about, like I said, about Gary, and he was talking about Lucas?
Oh, you faded again. I think we got you live again.
Okay, you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. No, the last thing I said was Gary was talking about the next big creator could be any one of us, pretty much. Um, the next George Lucas, the next R.A. Salvatore, the next, well, R.A. Salvatore was one of my favorite writers, but the next,
Dude, he was a big time influence for me.
yeah, I love R.A. Salvatore's books. Next, freaking Lord of the Rings, any of our franchises, any of our ideas, all we have to do is create them. Nobody knows what will become popular and what won't. People just got to get stuff out there and then promote it. And then, you never know. You might get a million fan base who just like, oh my God, this is the next big thing. Am I still here? Am I good?
Yeah, you glitched out for just a second. You're back.
Okay. So, like Shadowversity, how he's doing his book, and then he's got his upcoming space opera that he's working on, stuff like that. And then, it was before the Iron Age was called the Iron Age. And it was a couple of years ago. And he said, it's up to you guys to just create. If you have an idea, no matter what it is, try to put it out there. You never know. And it's like, you know what? I had this idea forever, but I never tried to write it. I never even thought to. It was never like an idea. And I was like, you know what?
Oh, you've gone glitch.
Am I good? Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Last heard you say, just put it out there, and then you glitched.
Okay, so you never know what's going to become popular, is what I'm saying. And so he's like, you got an idea? Put it out there and see what happens. Because I've had this in my head forever. Never written it down, never even thought about writing it down. And I was like, you know what? That might make a good book. Let's try it. You never know. So I was like, it's a good idea. So I started writing it. And then I read it, and I kept going and going and going. And then I finally put it all together, and I was like, oh my God, this could be freaking massive. Biggest problem with a lot of writers, but is marketing. We are terrible at marketing. So, so you got to get your book done.
I am so unhappy to agree with you.
Yeah, I've heard it 100 times by people. I've watched a ton of YouTube videos where people are like, yeah, marketing is not our strong suit. And so, that's, I have that YouTube channel already. And so I decided, maybe I should do this book and help my channel help dedicate to not just dedicate to my book, but also to other people, help grow. And I want to bring in other authors. That's what I started Myriasphere for, was kind of like the Iron Age, before the Iron Age. I wanted to, let's say, my overall story is done. But I got, they can go out through the universe. They can do so much with the universe, different galaxies, different worlds, different events. And I was like, it'd be so cool to get other authors invested and go, I like your universe. And I have some characters I think will be great as a side story. So there's my world. Would it be cool if your people met my world? And I was like, oh man, that would be interesting. Like comic creators,
that would
stuff
be
like
fun.
That. Yeah, so somebody's got a comic book about lion, like a lion race that, almost like the Thundercats or something like that. And then my people kind of exploring the universe, kind of meet your people, like that people, and do one cool event together or something. Who knows? You never know. Or they just, it'd be interesting. And you can grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I would love to get comics created for my universe and graphic novels and stuff like that. But I barely write just this. I'm like, oh man, I have no idea how to do that stuff. That's why I think The Bard of Hell would make a good comic, but I have to get with comic creators and be like, all right, here's my idea. Here's the overall story. Would you guys like to help me create it? And if you do, I would let you run it. I would just get, percentage or whatever and let them run with that, the Bard or Heaven's Bard, which I think would be a cool comic. Because I could see Lucifer looking a lot like Jarlaxle from Legends of Drizzt, where he's an angel, but he's a bard, so he likes flamboyant looks. He's got the big feathery hat, he's got the look, but he also, because he's an angel, can transform himself to whatever planet he goes to. So he's traveling the planet, so he just makes himself look like different alien races, so he can get to know their culture, get to know their music, get to know and inspires his music. But he's also, because like Lucifer is literally called the most beautiful angel, he would literally be the perfection of each race that he goes to.
Mr. Charming.
Yeah, he'd be like super charming. So you think D&D is
well, Jarlaxle once said, "Charm is learned art." To which Contrary responded, "So is murder."
Yeah, I fucking love Jarlaxle. Was literally my favorite character in all Legend of Drizzt. He literally is.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No, yeah, I love Jarlaxle. He's my favorite character. I love how his arc is like really how it's gone throughout the story. Because I already read the last book he got out, and I'm just like, man, I love Jarlaxle. I wish you. I know he's got a couple books. Okay, that's fine. Am I back?
Kinda.
Okay. No, I love his art, and so I thought it'd be really cool to put Lucifer in that kind of role where he's like the roguish bard, charisma like off the charts, dude, and then
the swashbuckling fighting style.
Yes, definitely a swashbuckler, but he's like super prideful, super, I am the greatest bard of all of heaven,
He's cocky.
He's very cocky, yeah. So I thought it would be really cool to put him in like a fantasy book where he like explores different worlds, especially in a comic or a graphic novel would be really cool because then you get to see him like walk different planets, have like people design different worlds, different aliens from different kind of creatures. Help him inspire because that's what inspires his music. It's finding life and then the darkness and then his fall. So I really thought it'd be a really cool comic, because I know people who do fantasy comics and
that would be.
Red Gaze is one of my favorite comic, creators. Other guys like that. But yeah, I am super excited. And I'm talking with my artist. Hopefully next month or two, I'll be getting more art done because I shared a couple art pieces on my Twitter and stuff like that of Arthur's new look, where he's got like the green skin more. I wish I could share it right now, but I don't have a picture with me. It's all on my phone, which I'm using. But and then I had him do the spaceship.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have to have you back on to show us that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when I get my computer and I can share all that stuff with. Yeah, I'll share that. I shared it on Gilded once already. I don't know if it's still there, but like the spaceship design, I already had done, and I had the new because artists. I have my old.
If you put it there, it's probably still there unless you took it down.
Yeah, I didn't take it down. So that poster that you can see, that's Arthur's original artwork I had done of him. So it's kind of it's black and white. Here, I'll go closer so you guys actually can see it. That's a good thing about having
you glitched away.
Am I? Am I back? Am I good?
There you are.
Okay.
Where?
Am I good?
I'm getting your voice a little garbled, but your video is frozen.
Is it frozen? Am I good? You see me?
Oh.
Am I back yet?
I think it's my internet this time.
It might be you're frozen on me. Okay, you're back.
Almost, I guess. Your
my robot.
Your video is still fun, but I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if they'll see this then.
No. You keep kind of like every couple of seconds the video like catches up and then freezes again, but I think I can still hear you.
Can you see the artwork now?
Yes. In fact, hang on a second.
That's my poster I get. Artwork I had in my first book, done for Arthur. Doesn't have any color, unfortunately. Let's see if I'm still. I got a figure over me. Man, there we go. All right, but yeah, that was the artwork I originally had done, and I upgraded that. So I have a new artwork for Arthas, which has all the color and all that stuff done, so it's a little better. I had that done, and then I had the spaceship design. I still have to make a couple other characters art that I want to get done. One is Jade, Arthas' love. I really want to get her art done. And then I want to get a poster done with Arthas and Jade, like a romantic thing where they're like holding each other or something. I think that would be cool. And then I want to get another poster where it's Arthas fighting a shadow demon, like one like leaping at him or something, and him like spearing it through or something. I think that'd be cool. And then like, dude, I want to get some stuff like that done for like promotional stuff.
Glitching away again.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There, sorry. Am I back? Can you see me?
Yes, you are. Or were.
Okay. But yeah, no, there's a couple more artworks I want to get done.
Welcome to the future, huh?
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, there's some stuff I want to get done for promotional stuff. I want to get posters made that I can actually sell on the, for the channel to help, and people find my book and they're like, oh, I love this book. And they're like, oh, he's got art done. He's got posters. Oh, I would love to get, a poster of your character. Come
on, internet.
My throat's good. Can you hear me?
I can see your internet is trying. Oh, Maji, you did that?
Chat break. I haven't seen chat yet.
Okay. It's really trying, but it's not quite making it.
Well, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. You freeze a couple times, but it looks like it's fine on my side.
Okay. I think I can hear you again.
Okay. Am I good? Yeah, I get, you're roboting out a little bit, but it's not too bad. I don't know. Good? Ooh, now it really froze. Oh. Am I good?
All right.
Can you hear me?
I sounded like you asked if I could hear you. Barely.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure if this is my internet also or.
You're roboting out a little bit on me, but it's working now.
Yes, Maji. It is a rough day for a stream with the internet acting the way it is, and we're having issues, I think, on both ends right now.
It might be. Well, if you have any more questions, that's fine.
All right.
Good.
Oh, do I have you?
Am I good? Am I good? You're working.
All right. Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to contact you in the chat there, but that's when it decided to come back.
All right. So you got anything else you want to know, or?
Uh, Actually, there's a lot I still, but both of our internets are having issues today. So I'm thinking
Try to get
we
back.
might wrap this one up today and then try and schedule another one. Yeah, where we could have a nice free flowing conversation without the Wi-Fi interruptions, and
Definitely, that would be good. All right, that's no problem.
because there's a lot I want to talk with you about.
Okay, yeah, no problem, dude.
All right, but yeah, so check it out. The Myriasphere origin. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The dark.
The dark, yeah, dark side.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So check that out. It is right there on Amazon. The link is in the description below. And his name is not David, it is Daniel. Get that right on the way out this time. All right. Daniel Cunningham.
Yep.
Check it out. The Myriasphere Origins, available on Amazon. Also check out his YouTube channel, link in the description below. We're going to wrap this up here before my internet completely goes conkers on me. So, Daniel, thank you so much for coming on, and we will do a part 2 when we both had you got your router, and I think we'll clear a lot of this garbage up and actually be able to chat.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for having me.
All right.
It was fun.
All right, so that was IronAge Spotlight number 9. May number 10 for us be much smoother. All right, if you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like. If you didn't, I appreciate you stopping by. See y'all next time, and God bless.